Hello and welcome to the Red Devils Den. This is the second episode of the podcast where we talk all things Manchester United. We've got a special episode for you today because we're previewing the Manchester United versus Liverpool game. Probably the biggest game of the league season, really. I don't know if you prefer the Old Trafford game or the Anfield game, but yeah, there was some news yesterday that we want to go through first regarding Wayne Rooney. Obviously, he'll be retiring from football and becoming the new permanent manager of Derby County. So, what sort of echelon, how good a legend do you think he was for Man United?
I'll go first then. Well,
Yeah,
for me, he's way up there with our top 5 players that we've ever had. I mean, he's our top goal scorer. He's such a special talent, and it's brilliant now to see him getting the praise that he deserves. Because I think a lot of us fell victim to, because he was here for so long, that we did take him for granted, I feel. I mean, I probably did it myself at some point. Every week in the starting 11, Rooney's there, he does his jobs, he gets everything every game. I think everyone did take him for granted, and it's always the way with these players. As soon as they retire, they get the plaudits that they do deserve. So, like, I'm old enough to remember when he came in. I would have been 9 at the time. But when he came in, this 16, 17, I can't remember how old he was. Yeah, this player for that amount of money. And I remember there was this big thing about that young boy. You remember the sign that said, "Please sign Wayne Rooney." There was a big thing about that, and obviously being as young as I was like, who is this guy? Like, I knew he was a good player. And then he just comes in and just hits the ground running, and instantly everyone's like, wow. You can understand the sort of the magnitude of the money, especially in 2004 as well. That amount of money was huge. So it was really questionable, but then, just hits the ground running immediately. Like, what a player, honestly. What a player and what a career he has had. And he deserves all the praise he's getting. He's a fantastic player.
Yeah, I'd absolutely agree. He's one of the greatest players we've had in the history of our club. He's our top scorer of all time. But the word that came to mind when I was trying to sum up Wayne Rooney's career in one word was contradiction. He's a United legend, but he tried to force his way out of the club twice. He was a generational player, but he also didn't quite fulfill his potential, it always feels like. He was a hard worker on the pitch, but he's someone whose lifestyle off of it didn't always keep him in the best of shape. He's somebody who studied our various managers, especially Van Gaal, he was very close to in terms of trying to learn from their coaching techniques. But I feel like the public perception was always that he was a little bit thick, a little bit dumb. And so for me, the enduring legacy of his career is that he was the constant. We had Tevez came and went, Ronaldo came and went, Chicharito, Berbatov, Robin van Persie, but Wayne Rooney was always there. And he was there not only during the good times under Sir Alex, he also stuck around through the 3 managers before Oli. And that's one of the biggest thing for me, that he didn't leave us as soon as we were back in the Europa League or even missing out on Europe under David Moyes altogether. So for me, he'll be one of our greatest players, a legend, happy retirement, and good luck in the managerial career. But yeah, like I said, he's a bit of a contradiction.
I absolutely do agree with what you've said, although I think one of the times where he did try to leave, I think he felt that he was quite let down by the club, because when Ronaldo left, obviously the money they received from that was essentially wasted. And obviously I do think from Rooney's point of view, he just wanted to see the club be ambitious. And I think he felt quite let down at the time, which is, how the transfer came around. So obviously I do agree, but I do see it from his sort of perspective that he could have felt quite let down. And especially, with Ronaldo going, with Tevez going, because I know it, he said a couple of times that he loved playing with Tevez. He felt quite like their relationship was quite telepathic. So you can sort of see it from that perspective as well. But I agree with what you're saying with him being a constant. Every partnership he had, he was always there.
Yeah, I agree with both of you there. It was my childhood hero, really. Like, he's an absolute legend, and I just wish him all the best. I don't know about you two or you three, sorry, but I think he deserves a statue outside Old Trafford now. I mean, it was just a talking point on Twitter yesterday, and I think he deserves it. All the things he's done for the club, all the important goals he scored, crucial goals, and I don't know whether the club have anything planned or anything like that, but I think he deserves one really for what he's done.
I hope so. I think he definitely deserves some kind of recognition, whether in the form of a statue or something like that. I think it seems the most appropriate, and I definitely won't be against it. He definitely deserves something.
Yeah, I'm all for the statue personally. I think it's one of those things where I think it's 253 or 254 goals he scored for United. That's unlikely to be broken, just given how players aren't staying at clubs as long anymore. He's going to stand the test of time. He's going to be our top scorer for decades to come. So definitely we should recognize that.
What was your guys' favorite goal for us? Or
sorry,
I was just going to ask.
Oh, his favorite goal.
Yeah.
What mine of his?
Yeah.
The Newcastle volley.
Yeah.
Every single time.
You know, I'll say the overhead kick against Manchester City in the derby.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, same. It's only because I didn't see that one. I was only about 5, the Newcastle one, so I think I missed it. But the one for the derby one, I saw that live. So yeah, that's probably my favorite.
So you were at the game?
The Newcastle goal. Derby one, I was, But for the Newcastle one, I never saw it. I was only 5. But it was a great goal, the Newcastle one. That the technique was just beautiful.
Oh yeah, it's some goal, and the Martin Tyler's commentary, you made it even better somehow. You know how it defies description. You were just like goosebumps just everywhere. So good.
Yeah.
The Newcastle volley though, I remember actually watching that, and it's something that will always stick in my head because it's always been my favourite goal ever. And I think how old would I have been? Maybe 10, 11. I remember we went 1-0 down that game. I remember I was watching it with my dad, and I was really upset at the time. I used to get upset when we went behind because I was 10. I was used to just winning every single game. And I remember we went 1-0 down that game, and then he's arguing with the ref, and then he's just like he goes out of camera shot, and then the ball comes over and he just pops back in. He just lets go of the most ferocious volley you've ever seen in your life, and how he just curls around and just went straight in the top corner. Oh, what a goal! That's my personal favourite. Anyway.
I think the one when he scored against West Ham away, I think it was 2016.
Yeah, I was just
halfway. I think that was very underrated. From
Beckham-esque.
He doesn't get the credit he deserves for that one. I think that was
from the halfway line.
Beautiful goal.
Was that
against West Ham.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it was.
I think the reason I didn't get as much credit for that one is just that the keeper was way off of his line. So
that's what I mean. Yeah.
Blame the keeper more than credit Rooney.
Yeah.
How many players could do that, right?
Yeah, it's unbelievable skill.
Just shows you don't lose it, do you? You still keep that technique no matter how old you get.
Yeah.
That's actually one of the reasons that having the technique both to shoot from that distance and also pass the ball around. I thought Mourinho made a mistake when he let Rooney go to Everton in 2017. I thought Van Gaal had the right plan, moving him back gradually into midfield. I know we signed Pogba to play that role, but we could have done a 4-3-3 or something and prolonged his career here. I think another year or 2.
He's definitely got the attributes to spread ball around the field.
Yeah. Do you think he'll be a success as a manager? Do you think he's got the capabilities to, manage a team and manage?
It's hard. Being a brilliant player is one thing, but being a great manager is another thing. I mean, you look at Thierry Henry, one of the best Premier League players or players in the world, and he's, what's he managing a club in the MLS now, not doing very well. It's so hard to say. And plus, obviously, last year he was a player coach, wasn't he? But he was still predominantly a player. So it's hard to say. I think, going on from now is when we'll be able to properly judge him. But he's probably got all the know-how and the game management and tactics, things like that. But actually, then taking that and applying it, it's a completely different thing, isn't it?
I think one of the things that Sir Alex used to tell his ex-players who were going into management was, don't pick a club, pick a chairman. And Derby are on the verge of a takeover from the Middle East, I think. And how those owners are, I think, is going to define how Rooney's managerial career starts, because if they're going to back the club and they're patient owners, then it could work out brilliantly. But on the other hand, right now I saw that they couldn't pay their players this week. If the takeover falls through, they're going through financial struggles, having to sell players to make it through to the end of the season, avoid a winding up order. Then it's going to be really difficult for Rooney to turn that around.
Yeah, I agree.
So, I suppose we talked about Rooney long enough. I think we'll move it on. So looking at the Liverpool game, I wanted to sort of have your thoughts on, what do you think our chances are? Do you want to go first, Dan?
I think we've got the best chance. Sorry, I was going to show you this. It's a Sir Alex print. I'll show you that in a minute.
Yeah.
This is the best chance we've got at winning at Anfield for ages. For the longest time. I mean, one, there's no fans, which will always benefit the away team. Two, they're not in good form. I think in the last 6 Premier League games, I think they've dropped points 4 times, if I'm not mistaken. We're very much in form, and especially away from home. And, we've got a fully fit squad apart from a couple of notable names. This is the best chance we've got of winning away at Anfield in ages, and we're top of the league. And it's a chance to go 6 points clear at the top. That's my opinion. I think this is the best chance we've had in ages to win at Anfield, and I'm actually fairly confident about it. Even though obviously their record of not losing at Anfield goes on for so long, but in the derby,
67 league matches now.
You what? Sorry,
67 league matches they haven't lost at Anfield.
Well, Bruno hasn't played there yet, has he?
I think it's about time we broke the record.
I mean, in fairness, we haven't lost an away match in almost a year. The last time we lost was Anfield 2-0 January 19th, and we're coming up on the anniversary of that. If we actually win this match or even draw, we go a year unbeaten away from home in the league. That's
crazy, isn't it? So it's their record against ours.
That's incredible, final.
Yeah, and that it's more than that. Liverpool are the best team at home in the league so far. They've won 7 of 8 matches, drawn the other. United are the best away team from home. 1-7, drew at Leicester.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I mean, something has to give, doesn't it? Because if they haven't lost a game at Anfield in however long, and we haven't lost an away game since January, which was actually against Liverpool, then the only way we can sort of avoid breaking one of those records is a draw. So it's probably going to be
very well be a boring 0-0 draw.
I don't think it'll be a 0-0. So Liverpool have been held goalless in their last 2 Premier League games. They haven't gone 3 without scoring since March 2005. So I do think they'll.
Wow.
That's mad. Yeah. So in terms of the starting 11 that we're going to pick, I want to sort of agree on one of those again. So what are we thinking in terms of the defence, Ryan?
I'd keep it the same. So Luke Shaw, Maguire, Bailly, and Wan-Bissaka, I think. Just keep it consistent now, no point.
That seems to be our best back 4, and I don't fancy Tellez against Mohamed Salah personally. And I think Shaw's been playing really well recently, so I think he deserves a start.
Perhaps backing out, go for a back 3.
You think?
Oh, yeah, he might do, yeah.
Because looking at it, Liverpool have put in the most crosses in the Premier League. I think they've put in 399 crosses so far this season, which is absurd. I think United have around 250 something. So that tells you how dependent they are on crossing. So I think putting 3 center backs in there just to head the ball out constantly, Tuanzebe, Bailly, and Maguire in the middle of the 2 of them, just to clear the ball whenever they put it in, I think is the way to go. Because my concern with the back 4 is they're going to do what Leipzig did and target the spaces between the center half and Wan-Bissaka. Because what I've noticed this season is Aaron's defending in the air is very suspect. So the idea
clubs are really starting to cotton onto that as well. You saw Burnley the other day. Their tactic from minute 1 was to get into that space because they know his positional awareness isn't brilliant.
They got in behind a couple of times as well. The first half especially.
So my thinking is with a back 3 to cover up have 3 center halves in the box to clear everything, and then you have Shaw and Wan-Bissaka just tracking their fullbacks to prevent the cross from going in to begin with.
That's the thing, isn't it? With Liverpool, mostly if you nullify the fullbacks, you nullify the Liverpool. Their midfield is not creative in any sense at all.
Yeah, spot on.
So what are we thinking? Like, if we go with a back three, would it be Maguire and Shaw?
Juan Tellez and Aaron Wan-Bissaka as fullbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
That's
Yes,
probably
but-
most likely. The thing that concerns me a little bit is having Tellez marking Trent Alexander-Arnold or Mohamed Salah on the wing. He's a little bit suspect defensively. I know it's a back three, but I would personally prefer having Shaw at a left wing back and then playing one of Tuanzebe or Lindelof in the box.
Yeah, you could do that.
I can see that. Yeah.
I just don't think Ollie would do that though.
Yeah, I agree. Ollie's unlikely to do it, but
I think what you've said is actually the smartest option, but I don't think that's what he'll do. I think he will play Tellez if he goes with the back three. That is, which is that you made some good points. So I think he should.
We had a lot of success last season in the big games going 3-5-2, and then this season we've struggled tremendously in the bigger matches, sticking with either a 4 at the back or going to the diamond system. So I think there's a huge benefit to going back to what worked before.
Did we play 3 at the back at Leipzig? Can't remember.
I think we play split strikers against City in the 0-0 game. Is that what we did then? We played a back three and then split strikers.
So we played 4 at the back because Pogba was on the left, wasn't he?
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, in terms of the midfield, then what are we? Because it's obviously going to be a back five, so it's going to be a midfield pivot. Would you say McTominay and Fred, or would you bring like Matic?
Be that one.
Yeah,
I think that's his go-to in big games, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah.
And especially because they've been rested twice now, haven't they? The last 2 games.
Yeah, they got more than enough in the tank to do it.
Fred has. McTominay played against Watford, didn't he? So Fred had a good rest.
That was right. Yeah, I'd like to see Fred back in the team. I do like him. He's a quality little player. So I think he will go McFred and then Bruno.
Yeah, and I think that's the obvious answer here. The problem with going with Pogba and Matic is Pogba's going to want to move forward, and that's going to leave Matic isolated. They can target him with his lack of pace, and it'll be an issue. So I think McFred is the clear way to go in bigger matches.
Yeah,
I really want Pogba to play. I don't know about you, but I think he's
coming off that left recently. I think he's doing really well further forward.
Yeah, I think he's in good form, and I don't know what, by dropping him, he's going to lose his confidence or something like that. I don't know.
I think the last couple of games.
Sorry,
carry on.
Go on, carry on. I'm finished.
I think in the last couple of games, Bruno hasn't been at his best, and I think the sort of like Pogba has then stepped up, and I think he's done really well, especially further forward.
See, I agree with you. I'm not a Pogba fan personally, but I do think he's had some of his best spell of form in the last month or two since Raiola started chirping up. But the problem I have is you can't play that many. You can't play the diamond, I think. You have to play 3 midfielders, and you can't drop Bruno Fernandes, and you can't play 2 attacking midfielders. So the result of that is if you're going with McFred and Bruno, then you can't really play Pogba.
Yeah, you have to play a front 3.
Yeah. I think the only way Pogba plays is if we go with a back 4 and he's on the left, because I think against Liverpool they're going to absolutely press the life out of him if he's in the pivot, and when he's a bit deeper it's a lot more difficult for him because he takes a lot of touches. He
does. Yeah. He's very, very suspect in his own half. I feel that he loses the ball a lot because I think he tries to do too much.
Yeah, and I think Liverpool will target that. I think McTominay and Fred in the big games especially, as we said before, they've got a lot of energy. They don't mess about with it. If they need to cleave it, they'll cleave it.
And Liverpool will be up for it. I mean, they've had 2 weeks off, so they'll be up for it. They'll have a game plan. They'll be up for it and energy. So we need to be on it.
Yeah. So it's obviously going to be McFred then. So Bruno Fernandes is obviously a given. What do we think about? Because a lot of people say Donny van de Beek needs to play a lot more games. He's not getting enough of a chance. But in my opinion, he doesn't really fit into the team a lot of the time because he's either got to replace Bruno or play out of position. What do you think?
I think that's bang on. It's tricky because I really like Donny van de Beek as as a player. But like you say, he's not forcing Bruno out of the team, because you can't force Bruno Fernandes out of the team. And like you say, it's either you drop Bruno for him, which is not happening, or he plays out of position. It's really hard to fit him into the squad. I mean, I think he will know his role at the club. I think Ollie would have had several conversations with him. You will get your chances. There is a plan for you, because Ollie does seem to have a plan for a lot of the players and things like that. But it is, like you said, it is really difficult to fit him into this team a lot of the time. He either plays out of position or you drop Bruno Fernandes, and you can't do that. Not right now, anyway.
Yeah, I love Donny van de Beek. I was really excited by the signing when we made it, but the problem, as has been mentioned already, is Bruno Fernandes. He is by far and away our best player, so it's really difficult to drop him. And the issue with playing him in Pogba's role, in my opinion, is he doesn't suit it. I know he has played as an 8 or as a 6 at Ajax, but generally speaking, his best skill is running into the box, finding the spaces that are being left open by the defenders, spaces between the fullback and the center half, things like that. And that's not really how the 8 and the pivot in our standard formation plays. It's more the role that the number 10 would play, and you can't displace Bruno.
It's like saying that you saw in the Watford game, the average position, he was supposed to be playing next to McTominay, wasn't he? And you saw McTominay was left on his own quite a lot of the time because of his natural, he wants to be in and around the box. And then you saw like a small display of his skill when he played that flick pass. Was it to Mata? Yeah, excellent. He's so good at those little one-touch passes, because he's obviously come from a total footballing system at Ajax. It's all he's done, and you see his awareness. He's constantly when he receives the ball, he probably looks over and around his shoulder 3 times. He's just constantly scanning his surroundings, and his spatial awareness is fantastic.
Watford, I was actually just watching him for part of the first half. You could see him making runs into the box that people weren't picking out constantly. If you had a Pogba or a Bruno on the pitch, it would have been one of the things that they could have seen, and we probably would have scored earlier on than we did.
I think there's a plan for Donny. I think he'll be a fantastic member of this squad. I just think everyone needs to sort of calm down a bit. I've been seeing calls for him to force a move. He's been here since summer. I think he will be an integral part of the squad. I just think everyone needs to just calm down a bit.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we just have to be patient with him. Simple.
We didn't finish the starting 11 for tomorrow.
Yeah, so it's obviously going to be Bruno Fernandes at sort of the number 10 role. And then if we're playing a big back 5, it's going to be split strikers. So will we go with Cavani, Rashford, Martial, Greenwood?
I'd go with Cavani and Rashford. I don't think Martial's on form right now, so I'd drop him for this game. And just Cavani's movement in and around the box. I mean, Liverpool, I think.
Split strikers, I think when he plays split strikers, Martial and Rashford really complement each other, because they get in between the spaces in the back 4, don't they? And I think Cavani's a bit more of a target man.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of Liverpool's central defenders. I don't think Matip will be fit, so they'll probably go, I don't know, with Henderson and Fabinho maybe. And I just think his movement, obviously they're not natural centre backs, them two. So I just think we get a lot of joy with Cavani in the team tomorrow.
There's an argument for both, isn't there, to be fair? I think both would do really well, especially against their current back 4.
Yeah, I'm really torn for that reason. The way I look at it is the benefit of playing Cavani is you can beat the press. You can just go long to him if you need to. I don't know if you guys remember, I think it was the last time we won at Anfield 5 years ago. Van Gaal used Fellaini in that way. He just had him positioned kind of off the strikers, and anytime they would press our back 4, we could just go long to Fellaini and bypass the entire midfield. So that would be one benefit of playing Cavani. But what I'm thinking is also going with Martial and Rashford. And the reason for that is they might play Reece Williams, who is one of the slowest center halves I have ever seen in my entire life watching football. He makes Harry Maguire look like Marcus Rashford or Dan James. It's incredible.
He's good aerially, I will say that.
He is, yeah. He's a talented player. I'm not saying he's not going to have a good career, but he's very slow. So targeting him and his lack of pace with Martial and Rashford dribbling at him, I think, is the way to go.
I think them two complement each other really well. They play split strikers anyway. I think they've got really good chemistry. If they play a back four, they've got two rapid players who are really good with the ball at their feet. You know, getting between the lines and in the spaces. I think they do really well together, and they played really well against City when we went 2-0 up fairly quickly. Was it in the cup last season?
I think it was the first league match at
when I think they both scored and Martial got one off the post. I think they played really well in that game together like that.
I could see Ollie going with Dan James as well, maybe. Obviously not in the back five like that formation, but as a front three maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if Dan James starts either.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think the reasoning for that would be if you're playing 4-2-3-1, just have him track the fullback, because let's be honest, Dan James doesn't really offer much as an attacking outlet, but he's an excellent defensive winger. If you just want your winger to mark the fullback, he's great for that.
He did really well in the game a couple of weeks ago when he got asked to do that job, didn't he?
Yeah.
I can't remember what game it was, but I know he did well.
Yeah,
he
played against.
Would have so many different options.
And then he played against Leeds, and then he played Leicester. I think he got taken off kind of early against Leicester. I think it was like 55th minute or something. But he always does well defensively, and I think when you're playing in a big game like this, you need him. But not necessarily need him. But if we're playing a back four, then I would definitely.
Well, you can either use him for that or for his raw pace. You know, if they're coming on to us, leaving the space in behind, he's obviously excellent on the counter as well. So there's a few benefits. But I think we've completed the 11. And wait, were we going with Cavani or Martial? 50-50 split, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
fair enough. So sort of going to move it on. I think one or two more topics left. I mean, we might as well touch on the Burnley game. We didn't have a chance to speak about that. So what were our thoughts on that? I mean, man of the match was probably Pogba, right? Wouldn't you argue that he would have to start after that game?
Yeah, he did really stepped up that game. The game itself was exactly how you'd expect a Burnley game to go. You know, to be fair, just boring. They were very, very solid. They didn't give us much time. You know, there were no spaces really in between the lines. And it was just a crap game. I'm glad we got through it.
I thought we played well second half, though.
Sorry, what was that?
I thought we played well second half, though. We were moving the ball pretty quickly. Matic's passes along the ground were breaking.
Yeah, we definitely
into
did
the midfield. So
I mean, when the game started and they immediately started launching balls over to Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I feared the worst. And they were getting good chances as well, and especially, right at the end when, we're into like the 98th minute, I was thinking, shit, they're really going to equalise here. But
they should have really scored, That Tarkowski guy should have really scored. I don't know how he missed that.
He missed the ball, didn't he?
Yeah.
That Vidra had a couple of chances as well.
That match shouldn't have been in doubt for that long, honestly. It was shambolic refereeing from... I can't remember who was actually the referee, but the VAR, the referee, both.
Kevin Friend, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Maguire's goal should have stood.
Yeah.
100%.
And you saw, was it on the same night, a very similar header was scored?
Michael Keane, Everton.
That's it.
Michael Keane, Everton. Yeah.
He had two hands on the back of the defender. Maguire had one, and it was only for a very short period of time where he had his hand on the back. It was a great header.
He had the jump on him. Where was he supposed to put his arm?
Peter tweeted that if that goal shouldn't have stood, then half of his goals in his career wouldn't have counted.
Yeah.
Is that Peter Crouch? Yeah.
Peter Crouch.
Yeah. I think it's sort of telling. My uncle, who's a Liverpool fan, was saying to me that's probably the best goal that you'll see disallowed, and it was completely the wrong decision. But yeah.
And it wasn't the only one that went against us. I thought also, by the way, guys, the 40-minute time limit is gone. Gift from Zoom. But I thought it wasn't the only VAR decision that went against us. I thought their defender, I think it was, I can't remember who it was, but
Bobby Brady,
Luke Shaw. That wasn't a yellow card for Luke Shaw. It should have been a red card for Burnley.
Yep. Shaw's won the
I
ball.
think it was a foul. I think it was a foul on the guy from Luke Shaw. So obviously they have to play it back. But
See,
yeah,
I see where you're coming from, but the problem is Shaw plays the ball first. And
Yeah, he does.
I know that he gets the man, but he can't stop himself from sliding forward. That's just his momentum.
It's a
It's
genuine
really
attempt
annoying
to play the ball.
But on VAR, it really annoys me when they proper slow it down. So it looks bad when in real time it's really not. So
everything looks worse in slow mo. It's a genuine attempt to play the ball. And it's not even. It was
VAR actually judged that Shaw's incident wasn't a foul and that it was a red card for Burnley. They sent the referee over to the monitor, and then the referee reversed it and said, no, the Shaw one is a foul, and then gave the yellow card. So it was actually the referee, not VAR, to blame for that one.
I thought it was VAR. I didn't know it was.
VAR brought him back to go look at the monitor, but from what I've read, VAR said that it wasn't a foul, but you should look at the whole sequence of the play. And then the referee said, no, that is a foul.
Well, it was a genuine attempt to play the ball. It wasn't excessive force. No. And it should have been a red card for Robbie Brady because Cavani was bearing down on goal. He would have been 1-on-1. But yeah, we had some really bad decisions against us the other night.
And the way Gary Neville was going on about the short tackle. I thought he was going to get sent off. The way Gary Neville was going on, I was shitting myself. Really.
Gary Neville pissed me off the other night. He tries so hard to be unbiased that he almost sounds like a fucking Liverpool fan half the time. I swear.
Yeah, he was going on like, I wouldn't be surprised at all if he gets sent off. That looks really bad. I don't think it was as bad.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here thinking, that's our free kick.
What about I think in the second half that Maguire's handball. I mean, I was shocked why they looked like. I don't know. I've not seen it again, but from first sight, I don't know. I can't remember. I mean, people were saying that it was a handball, but then you got United fans saying it wasn't, and it was soft. I can't remember it, to be honest.
That incident is another victim of the slow motion, how everything looks so much worse. But I mean, he's got two players in front of him for a start, and he's jumping up. Yeah, his hands are up there, but they're there, aren't they? They're still like on his body. I didn't think there was anything to that. Didn't even think it needed to be checked.
Yeah, it was a classic case of ball to hand rather than hand to ball.
Yeah.
I think they sort of tweaked the rules with handball a bit. I think a couple of months ago, 3-4 months ago, maybe they probably would have given that. But I think
it's a lot better now than it was. I mean, even with the, I don't know if you remember last season, but if a club scored and it had touched the hand of a player in any way, shape, or form, then the goal was disallowed. I remember that Tammy Abraham one when his hand was right down by his side. It was like touching his hip, but it touched his hand and the goal got disallowed. I thought that was awful. It's probably the worst one.
Well, at least we don't have to experience that anymore. But yeah, we talked about the Burnley game, the Liverpool game, Wayne Rooney. It's probably one more little piece of news we've had in the last few days, which was Fosu-Mensah is going to leave the club. So, in my opinion, he's not, the most talented player ever. He had 2 loans that, they didn't really work out. But what do you think? Do you think we could have kept him? Maybe as a squad player or something like that?
No, I think it's a good move all round, really.
Yeah.
To be honest, I mean, he wasn't getting the games, like you said. He had 2 loans, and I think he never really hit his potential here. But I still think he could do a really good job for Leverkusen, and he'll get regular game time, and it's another squad space for us free for another player to come in. So I think it's good. I wish him the best of luck.
Yeah, me too. Wish him all the best, and hopefully fulfills his potential at Bayern Leverkusen.
Yeah.
I think it's telling about his place in the squad that when Wan-Bissaka was injured, Ollie chose to use 2 center halves at right back rather than play Timothy Fosu-Mensah. It's just, I feel like his entire United career was the victim of the Mourinho reign of terror. If Van Gaal had stuck around, or if Ollie had come in straight after Van Gaal or something, or Pochettino had come in at that time, I think he might have made it here. He had the talent, but with a manager who wasn't interested in developing him, his career sadly just didn't work out, and it was the right time to part company.
Yeah, it was a shame
How
because
much
he's
did we
a
get for him?
top player as well, can't he? He can play, he can play right back. He plays defensive midfield. I think he had the bare bones of a great player, but like you say, he was a victim of Mourinho era, and manager didn't want to develop him, so he just sort of his career just sort of stagnated. But hopefully it lifts up again for him now, because I really do like him. So.
I mean, Leverkusen have signed him primarily because I think Santiago Arias, who plays right back for them, is injured for the season now, so he should get a lot of opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. It's good for him.
Yeah.
Good luck to him.
So yeah, I mean, obviously Fosu-Mensah, he's strong, fast. He can play multiple roles. He could have been a squad player for us, but I don't think we needed him in the squad. I mean, we got Williams, Wan-Bissaka, we got Dalot, who I think is going to leave.
Yeah, I think he'll go.
My opinion on Dalot is that he's sort of underrated. I mean, he was in my opinion, he was our best fullback under Jose Mourinho. I mean, Shaw has obviously improved a lot since then. We had young Valencia, and he sort of never really had a run of games. But it looks now that he's going to stay at Milan, or even Barcelona are linked to him now. So, what do you think we'll have him back, or?
I didn't think Ollie fancies him at all.
I don't rate him either at all, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't rate him at all.
No.
He's not as good as the people on Twitter make out that he is. They think he's the next coming in Dani Alves, and he really isn't.
It's one of
the first couple of games. The first couple of games were really good. Like his crosses were pinpoint, but then I don't know. He just went back into a shell, like not going forward as much. His passing was off. Even he was getting spawned defensively. So
I mean, I have to admit, I haven't watched much of him at Milan, but I know that he only started 3 games, hasn't he?
He's been getting into the side more and more lately. They've gradually worked him in. I think the problem with Dalot, personally for me, in the Premier League especially, is that he's not defensively sound enough to play in a back 4. He's a very good right wing back. I mean, he's not the same profile of player, but it kind of reminds me of Doherty's situation moving from Wolves to Spurs, where he looked great for Wolves, and then he moves to Spurs, and in a back 4, he's completely exposed and loses his spot inside of a month. Like, it's one of the things where I just don't think he has the defensive capability or interest in defending to be able to play in a back 4, and that's why Ollie doesn't fancy him.
You think he can play exclusively as a wing back in a back 5 then?
He could do that, or I think that's his best position for his career, but if he's playing in a side that plays with a back 4, it has to be something like Liverpool, where the fullbacks are pushing way past the halfway line and he's free to attack, and there's 2 midfielders to mop up behind him. He can't play in the system that we play, where you've got 2 attacking midfielders, 1 holding mid, and the fullbacks are expected to contribute defensively.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's part of the reason why Ollie doesn't exactly prefer him, because obviously Wan-Bissaka, Shaw, they're quite defensively sound fullbacks and they don't get forward that much. Yeah. I think Dalot's more of a Liverpool sort of fullback, or a Trent Alexander-Arnold or Robertson, who he gets forward a lot. His crossing is probably his best attribute.
My personal
prediction, I think he could definitely come back and have a similar role to Williams. Cover for Aaron Wan-Bissaka in teams against clubs that aren't as good going forward. And
I think what we'll end up seeing is Williams will go on loan in the summer. Fosu-Mensah's obviously just left. I think Dalot will be sold to somebody for 20-25 million. And then United will spend 10 to 15 million bringing Kieran Trippier in the summer. I think United really want that veteran fullback, and they want someone in that cheaper bracket, 10 to 15 million, like Tellez, to come in and just be an attacking alternative to Wan-Bissaka.
I could definitely see the club doing that. I think it'd actually be smart business. Like you say, he's an experienced player. He won't cost much money. He's still decent going forward. And he's he's an experienced player as well for the young players like Williams. He could probably mentor Williams the same way Cavani probably is with our younger forwards. Similar like that.
In the summer, he'll have won La Liga with Atletico the way it's looking, so he'll come in with title-winning experience, which is something our side definitely could use.
I think we might have got him in January if it wasn't for the ban. I have seen things saying that. But I don't think we will have anyone else coming in January. Half the time I forget the window's open, to be honest.
I feel like the only business we might see is Rojo and Romero leaving. Maybe Phil Jones gets a loan move, but that's about it.
Yeah, definitely more a focus on getting some deadwood out of the squad, isn't there? Well, players that I'm going to play.
Yeah, I think it was, maybe Williams might have left on loan this month, but if we're not going to get Trippier or Max Evans, we were linked to as well. If we're not going to get a player like that, then we need Williams as a backup.
Yeah, because I think didn't Leverkusen want Williams as well, but Ollie blocked that, so that's probably why they went in for Fosu-Mensah.
Yeah, that was definitely the case. I think one of the things that Ollie needs to work on in the second half of the season, personally, I would have used Williams more in the first couple of months of the season. He didn't play enough. Wan-Bissaka needs a rest every now and again, and Williams can be trusted in that role. So I think in the Europa League and the FA Cup, no matter who we're playing, unless it's the semi-final or something, we should be using Brendan Williams.
Yeah, fair enough. So we've gone through quite a few things, about 45 minutes now, so I think we'll end it there.
Sorry, before we leave, can we get a prediction from everybody for the match?
I think I'm going to go positive 2-1 United.
I'm going to go the same.
Yeah.
2-1. That was what I had in my head as well.
My predictions keep on changing minute to minute, so I'm just going to go with down the middle 1-1.
For me, I would have said 1-1. I'd be happy with a 1-1. I'd take it right now. But I've got this
take a draw
feeling that we're going to get a good result here. I'm going to say 3-1 United.
I'd love a 5-2 or something like that.
Oh, that'd be beautiful.
That would be unbelievable.
7-2. Probably better.
All right. Well, in that case, I'm going to go ahead and stop the podcast here. And thank everybody for joining us this week.
Thank you.